So as we've mentioned, when a person has a healthy self-definition, as we spoke about in Parshas Lech Lecha, the first calling of Avraham was to reclaim himself. And that occurs, that self-definition and self-understanding occurs through going inside. Lech Lecha, go inside of you. And he had to leave everything he understood, everything he knew, everything he belonged to renew himself, to reclaim himself, to translate into something new. Then from there, as we mentioned, we added on in Parashas Vayera, there was another severing, another separation, which was the Bris Milah. Yet, why was that? So it wasn't separation for the sake of separation, it was separation for the sake of connection. Because when we have a good sense of self, when we have a good self-esteem and a good confidence, I can relate to people. I know my own wants and needs, and I could express my wants and needs, and from there I can relate to others. I could be in touch with others. I'm not going to get offended when people say things. I'll be able to express, you've overstepped a mark, or I could express I want more in the relationship because I know what my wants and needs are. And then from there, I can develop deeper, healthier, more wonderful and wondrous relationships. And we spoke about how that's the idea of Gevura, which leads to proper chesed. Now, let's take a step forward. How do we actually actualize that? Which is a bechina of tiferes. How do I start to create beautiful relationships? How do I start to do that? So we can suggest as following, based on the teachings of the ancient ones, that we want to live in the present moment. Either we're living in the present moment or we're living in our minds. If we're living in our minds and we are living in our thinking and we're living in our feeling and we are so much in it, it can take us away from the present momentary experience. And if we leave the present momentary experience, I'm missing out on the power of the now, the here and now. And that's something that Judaism wants to accent in our way of living. We want to live a rich, experienced life. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. So for example, when I'm relating to somebody else, to really be present and listen to them, to really be present and feel them out. That so many people, when they're listening to somebody else, they've got all these thoughts that are going on inside, which takes away from the relationship that's going on in front of them, which decreases the intimacy of the relationship. Ideally, what we want is having the ability to stop and to breathe and to listen to somebody, to be with somebody with a clean, quiet mind, really receiving what they are sharing, to be present in the moment. And this is true for the times we're eating. This is true for the times we're learning, the times we're singing, with whatever we do, being in the present moment to the best of our ability, more than less. There's a saying that my father would say, once it's gone, it's gone. So don't let it go without knowing that it's gone. Time. That we can end our day and we could feel to ourselves, we can say to ourselves, whoa, that went so quickly, where did the day go? But when we are present in the moment, when we stop. And for example, we feel the ground under our feet for a moment. Feel the ground under our feet. When we listen to the sounds that are going on around us, when we look around and we really exit our mind and enter the present moment, then we can enrich in our life experiences. And this, according to the Baal Shem Tov and others, is one of the main messages of the description of Chayei Sarah at the beginning of the Sedra. Chayei Sarah speaks about her death, yet it's called Chayei Sarah. Why? Because she really lived. And the breakdown of how that is expressed is as well a testament to how she lived, present in the moment, experiencing each moment, each segment of her life consciously, consistently consciously as she lived. So it says, Vayu Chayei Sarah, these are the years, the lifetime of Chayei Sarah. She lived 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. And the Sfarim explain, our ancient ones explained, that we're being told here she exited her mind, lived in the present moment. She lived a present momentary life experience. And that's why it was so rich and so complete. If we turn to the end of the Sedra, Avram Avinu is described the same way in the way that he lived his life. The same way, the same message. Live in the present moment. Take action now, because the moment that we have now is the moment that we have now. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so many times I hear people say, I've missed so much because I've been thinking or feeling, I've overthought, and I've missed out on the beauty that's always in front of me. Exit the mind, enter the present moment, breathe, feel the ground under your feet, look around, listen. What a wonderful practice. And we can end off by sharing, as we have over the last couple of weeks, with Pirkei Avos. So we start off with Parshat Lech Lecha, which is this idea of Gevura. Im ein ani li, mi li. If I'm not for myself, if I don't reclaim myself, if I don't know myself, who's gonna be for me? Mi li. Who's gonna be? Ukasha'ani la'atzmin. If I'm only for myself, ma'ani. So this is now Avraham reclaimed. Now he can open up to others. How? Im ein achshav emasai. If I'm not present in the moment, when? And this is an aspect of Tiferes, of beauty, when two human beings could meet each other fully in a present momentary experience. Wow, that's beautiful. That's absolutely profound and beautiful. So Be'ezras Hashem, we've gone through a process so far that things weren't going well in Bereshis. Everything was created and then everything fell apart a little bit. That's Bereshis and Noach. Avraham in Parshas Lech Lecha reclaims himself. Vayera, once reclaimed, he can open up and be the Bal Chesed. And going back to the original in a healthier way through a point and place of reclaiming. So I can take that Gevura and pump it in now to have a proper state of self, that I don't get pushed around and offended by others because I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable in who I am. And then how do we actually actualize that? What's the takeaway? To live a present momentary experience, that I can be present in the moment and relate to the other. Now that's a powerful way of developing a wonderful life and beautiful, deep relationships. So Be'ezras Hashem, we can have a bracha where we can remember and recognize for ourselves. Lech lecha, im ein ani li, mi li, Avram Avinu. Then the next stage, however, I have to open up, be that Bal Chesed. Ukasha'ani la'atzmi, if I'm just for myself, what am I? So I want to open up. But how do I actually do that? Chayei Sarah, live a present momentary experience. Take every opportunity, the power of the now. And that is Im lo achshav emasai. May we all have bracha, mazel, and hatzlacha.